You might be wondering why a naturopath like me is talking about GLP-1 medications. Well, in my practice, I see so many women using them, and I realize they're not just a weight loss. They're actually a really great opportunity to build solid, long-term diet and lifestyle habits. GLP-1s reduce appetite, but they also lower those dopamine-driven cravings for sugar, alcohol, and binge eating. That means they can actually help break those stubborn habits, making it much easier to stick to good nutrition while supporting your metabolism. Hi, I'm Emma Sutherland, clinical naturopath, author, mum, and your host. With over 20 years in clinical practice, I've helped thousands of women and their families transform their health using evidence-based integrative strategies. This is part one of our 4-part series on GLP-1s, and today we'll dive into what you must know before starting a GLP-1 medication. In part 2, we'll cover how to protect your muscle, keep your energy stable, and support your gut while you're on a GLP-1 so that you maximize results and minimize those unwanted side effects. In part 3, I'll explore what the research has to say on the fascinating topic of GLP-1s and women's hormones across the lifespan. In our final part 4, I will bring in nutritionist Melissa Leahy, who specializes in transitioning off GLP-1s successfully. If you're thinking about using a GLP-1, whether that's Ozempic, Mounjaro, or another version, this episode is your pre-flight checklist. We'll cover the foundational elements, key nutrients, and mindset shifts that set you up for success so that you can use this medication as a tool and not a shortcut. Let's start with the big picture. GLP-1 medications work by mimicking a natural hormone that helps regulate your appetite, your blood sugar, and the rate your stomach empties. They can be powerful allies for weight and metabolic health if your body is well prepared. Without that foundation, you are very likely to experience a lot of side effects and struggle to maintain your results once you stop. So today, we'll walk through 3 key steps. The first are health assessments and readiness. The second is nutrient and habit foundations. And the third, mindset and expectations. Before you start, it is absolutely essential to understand how your body is functioning. GLP-1s slow gastric emptying. So if your digestion or your motility in your gut are already sluggish, you are at higher risk for nausea, bloating, or constipation. In fact, up to 65% of people experience those awful gastrointestinal side effects of nausea, and I always suggest checking in on digestive health. Is there any history of reflux, IBS, or slow transit issues like constipation? If so, you need to fix those before starting the GLP-1. Next, think about your thyroid and your metabolic function, since these can affect energy and weight regulation. Is your thyroid working well? Next is the liver detox pathways and your kidney function, because that's how your body processes the medication as well as the fat that hopefully you'll lose. And then lastly, your pancreas health. Especially if there's any family history of diabetes or pancreatitis, you want to know that your pancreas is working well. Medication interactions also matter. For example, if you're on the oral contraceptive pill, GLP-1s can slow the absorption of your pill, meaning your pill may be less reliable. I always recommend using a backup barrier method such as condoms. These medications are not to be used in pregnancy. So if your pill becomes ineffective, then unplanned pregnancy is a risk you just don't want to take. Now, the official recommendation is to come off these medications 8 weeks before trying to fall pregnant. And finally, ask your healthcare provider for some screening blood tests at least a month prior to starting the medication. Things like folate, B12, homocysteine, your iron studies, vitamin D, zinc, magnesium. You really need to know what your baseline is so that you can get prepared and organized if there's any deficiencies. Now let's talk about your nutritional runway. This is where most people go wrong. They start the medication without building the right habits first. Let's start with protein, of course. Aim for around 1.6 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. Absolutely aim for roughly 30 grams at breakfast so you start the day. This helps protect your muscle mass while you lose the fat. When it comes to fiber and hydration, you'll need at least 5 to 10 grams of fiber per meal and plenty of water to keep things moving through your gut. When it comes to resistance training and movement, don't let the number on the scale be your only focus. Keep your muscles active because that's where your metabolism can remain healthy in the long term. Then when it comes to gut health, as we know, GLP-1s slow digestion. So you need to support the motility in your gut with bitter foods like rocket. Magnesium citrate can be great as well. Plenty of hydration and daily exercise. You don't want constipation or bloating derailing your progress. I also talk about meal timing because appetite will likely change. So tune into your hunger cues, but don't skip the nutrients. Focus on nutrient-dense meals, even if you're eating less. And finally, let's take a look at one of my favorites, which is mindset. It's easy to see GLP-1s as a quick fix, but the truth is they are just training wheels for new habits. They help you get traction, but you still need to steer. This is about rewiring your relationship with food, hunger, and self-care. If you approach this as a shortcut, you are going to likely lose muscle, experience side effects, and regain the weight later on. But if you use it as a tool, you can create sustainable long-term change in your metabolism and health. So slow and steady wins here. Progress over perfection. To recap, get your pre-starting blood test done. Build your nutrient and habit foundations. And align your mindset before you start. If you jump in without these, you're setting yourself up for frustration and disappointment. But with them, you're primed for smooth sailing and lasting success. Next episode, we'll explore what to do while you're on the GLP medication. Part 2, we're going to cover how to protect your muscle, keep your energy stable, and support your gut so you maximize results and minimize those unwanted side effects. So hit like if this helped, subscribe so you don't miss out on part 2, and tell me in the comments, what do you feel unsure about before starting GLP-1 medication?